Hello, my name is Andrew Kelly. This is a working session. The video is called Technical Update and Corrections for September 17th, 2025. The channel is The Real Andrew Kelly, and the playlist is called Video Editing. In this session, we will go over some changes, some updates really, that I made in the way I invoke the MPV Linux utility. Also, a new way of doing webcam recording for our videos, where the actual recording takes place on the phone, and this utility that you see here, MPV, is nowhere to be found in the rest of the video, except in this video I do bring it back in a couple of times. You will see. I also had the opportunity to update kdenlive to a later version because I thought there was an issue with compositing in the effects and transitions. And so I go into how I updated kdenlive using the AppImage packages that are available on the kdenlive download page. And it turned out there was nothing wrong with the version I was using, but I thought there was, except that I learned the error of my ways. But I'm going to stay on the newer version of kdenlive, and the details are further down in the video as well as in the description below the video on YouTube. And with that said, let's proceed. Before we start, I am trying out a different way of presenting webcam output in the recording. What you see here is the MPV utility, and let's focus on that for a second, and we will go into some of the flags and how to get explanations for them and so on. However, before that, as I said, I'm trying out a different thing here. The problem that I'm trying to solve is that this is part of the video track that's being recorded by Kazam. In other words, when I bring it into kdenlive, it shows up as a single video track and a single audio track. And that, I find that a little limiting, because during the recording I don't want to have to go and hide this all the time, because I need the full session with kdenlive. For example, if I were to start kdenlive, oh, I have one open, forgive me, and it's here, and I've got this thing stuck in the middle somewhere, but I want to use the full kdenlive screen to look at everything, and I have to go hide it, and it's a hassle. So what I want to do is I'd like to have the webcam on a different track, but if I'm recording with Kazam, I don't have that luxury. I will always get the single video track, which means whatever thinking I have to do about where to put my image, not that it's that important, it's really not, but I want to be able to control that a little bit better as I'm editing the video. And for that, we use what we're using today. By the time that you're watching this, say this will be without this image, but over here you will see a new image which should materialize out of practically nowhere, even as we speak. But as I'm recording this, there is no image over here. When you're watching it, there will be an image over here, and that is because I'm actually using right now as sort of like an experiment to see how it's going to work out. The screen recorder on the Pixel 8a phone, which I'm using as a webcam. So this is what I get from the webcam. This is what I get from the Pixel 8a, but I can also have it as part of the screen recording on the Pixel 8a, so that right now the screen recording on the phone is running, but there's no MP4 file yet. When I finish recording, when I finish recording the session that you're looking at right now, I will then finish the recording on the phone, and that produces the MP4 file, which I will transfer over to my Linux machine and incorporate it into the session that we're working on right now. So we'll see how that works. For the time being, let's get rid of kdenlive for a moment, and here I have this is still here, it's just hidden. In other words, kdenlive is basically recording the audio for me, and in order to synchronize it, I have to basically use this in the first few seconds of the clip in order to synchronize the video from the phone with the audio that Kazam is recording. And then I take those first few seconds from the video and I cut them out so you never see them. I might actually leave them on just so that you see that part of the process. I haven't recorded anything for a few days now because my voice was gone. And when I overuse it, I have to remember to sort of quieten myself down a little bit and be patient. That's me. Patience Incorporated. Okay. What we have here, this that I'm highlighting right now is the command line utility that I'm using on Linux to produce this, basically. What each one of these parameters, I mean, some of them are obvious, but how to get to the point where you can make up this command line might take some looking around. And the basics for my system are, this is the Cinnamon desktop on Debian 6, Debian 12, and there are various commands that I copied here, but the real answers lie in my next recommendation is, I don't know how other search engines are, but Google search is superb when it comes to how it implements its own AI to get answers. And I'll demonstrate. Let me pick the first question I'm going to ask it. And I mean, for me, this is like magic. Copy the string, start Firefox, and bring it into focus here. And let's paste the question. So I looked at what the command line was, and I was wondering, how do you come up with a string? And so I asked if I asked Google the question, And the answer is really amazing. Um, and I'll have these comments and everything you're seeing on that editor in the description below for the video, and you can just go there and copy and paste and see for yourself. I'm not going to go through this in detail, but you can see here. This is a nauseating amount of detail here. I mean, um, V4L, Video for Linux, is the name of a standard. There's a few standards there. Um, and how to get device names and so on. Um, and for me, it's also interesting. So that's one question that I've been asking Google. Let's get this out the way for a moment. Actually, let's minimize it. This probably works better. Okay. The next question is how to determine the audio device name. And again, I'll just do a quick demonstration. Copy, and let's open a new tab here, ask the question, and go look for the answer. And it's that simple. This is recommended reading, because what it does is it gathers up many sources of information and basically summarizes the answer that I'm looking for, and it has a very high hit rate for me. Very rarely is it the case that it does not come up with the answer that I was looking for in the first query. Sometimes it takes a couple of tries. I read the responses and say, oh, I should have asked this, or I should have asked that, and then fairly quickly you get to the answer. Okay, enough of this. And so this is the command line that I used. There was a previous session with, I think it was not exactly the same command line, so I thought I'd update. And let's go on here to kdenlive itself. I upgraded my kdenlive to version 25.08.0. The reason for it, I typically do not like going to newer versions just willy-nilly, because I just think it's a waste of time given what I'm trying to accomplish. However, I ran into some problems, some issues dealing with, what do they call them? The compositions. And I was looking into composite and transform, but I couldn't make it work at all. So I got the AppImage package for kdenlive from this particular site. No, that's my emails. No, that's... There we go. Sorry. Alright. This over here, do you see it flashing where it says AppImage? You go to kdenlive.org/download. You get this screen and you click on here. Excuse me again. And let's try and see if I can... Sorry, improving the coughing situation here, hopefully. If I clicked on this, which I have obviously before, you get the AppImage package, and you should not install it in /bin or /userbin. Rather, in your /home/somewhere. In my case, it's under /home/Andrew/bin, which is in my path. And I have a little script that basically executes it as an executable, and the package includes all the prerequisites for this later version of Kdenlive that I'm trying to install. And it's not Debian or Debian 12 specific, it's Linux specific. In other words, the Debian-ness or the Ubuntu-ness of the whole thing, or the Mint-ness, is completely irrelevant here, because it's got everything it needs. All the packages, the executables, the libraries, the dependencies. Otherwise, I'd have to go build Qt, which that takes some doing, and KDE, and a few other things, in order to build it from scratch, and I'm just not willing to do that. I did that when I was young, like when I was 40 or 50. So anyways, this is the place where you can get the AppImage. It works very well, though you will need to make some changes to how you invoke it, to overcome the fact that it doesn't take into consideration some system settings that have to do with font size, style, themes, and so on. And I found that really easy to do. I made three things. First of all, this is the name of the app image I'm using. This is the script that starts it, and the key here, the most important thing, is this shell variable, which is being set to a zoom scale factor of 1.2, which, regardless of what it means specifically, trying it out, it gave me the best font size, icon size, appearance stuff in Kdenlive that I needed. And then these are recommended as well. You can read them up. This will be in the description below. Excuse me again. And this is the desktop, the Cinnamon desktop entry. That's a file that you create, you make it executable, and you get a little icon that starts Kdenlive if you do this. And if you want to do more reading about it and understanding a little better what it actually does, then you go here, you basically paste the question, and you get more information than you ever needed to know. And it's very useful. I mean, it's right on it. The how the dependencies works, and how to set the Qt scale factor, etc. They've got a few other suggestions down here. And with that, we're done for now. Ta-da! Hope you enjoyed this video. Make good use of it, and we'll see you next time. Thank you. Bye-bye.